Prioritize happiness over success. Hi everybody, this video is going to be a little different from my other videos because in my other videos I just talk about being a high achiever, being really successful and striving towards that goal. But I think at times we just become a lot more obsessed with success, and we forget that we also need to prioritize happiness in life, right? So that is what I will be talking about in this video. But before I start this video, let me just remind you, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel right now and then continue with the video. Okay, so we all want success, right? Success is very, very important. Let me not deny that fact, because it brings money and fame and recognition and a sense of achievement, which is all very good. It helps us survive and enjoy life, and to an extent success is also very important to be happy, right? But note that I said to an extent, because what happens is a lot of times when we go into the success mindset, we just find ourselves running on that treadmill, and we don't stop. Yeah, we get obsessed, and uh, we continue chasing that rat race, and we find ourselves, it's we are at the end of our lives, and all we had done is we kept running on that treadmill and never had time to stop and reflect that what really makes us happy, right? Because success, like I said, is important for happiness, but it is not the only thing that you need to be happy, right? There are other aspects of life. So just imagine success to be one of the legs of a table. A table will not stand on just one leg. There are other legs which are equally important, right? Could be things like relationships and health, but there are other things as well, right? Because you would see that a lot of very highly successful people, they would complain that they have a lot of stress in their lives, right? They don't have time to exercise, right? They cannot take care of their health, they cannot trust people, they have no time to sleep, they have sleep issues, and a lot of other things that make them extremely unhappy. So what I'm saying is, success in materialistic terms is important, but it's not the only thing that is important for life. We need to have other things as well to lead a happy life, because success and happiness has some correlation, but after a certain point of time it diverges. Okay, success then seems to not have a lot of correlation with happiness. So we should consciously sit down and think, what do we really want from our lives, right? We should not consider ourselves successful and unsuccessful in terms of somebody else's parameters. We have to define those parameters for ourselves. Okay, but you know what, my channel, I know a lot of people watch for motivation and advice, and I think at this point when we are young, we probably do need to chase success, because as I said, success is very important, and when we are young, we are not all very successful. So yes, we should be chasing success, but then I think this conversation becomes a lot more relevant later on in life when we have achieved some success, and then we should sit down, and it takes a lot of courage, let me tell you, to sit at that point when you are at the top, to decide that it's fine, just let it go, just let me enjoy my life a little bit. So I think that is important, because no matter how much money you have in life, how much success you have, it's like that addiction where you want more. Yeah, there was this story I read when I was a child in school. It was called "How Much Land Does a Man Require?" And just comment down below if you've read that story. So what basically happens in the story is, there is this man who's been given the offer that in the morning, if you run, until sunset, whatever distance you cover, that land will be yours. So what he does is, but then at the end of the day, you had to run back from where you started. So he, being greedy, he kept on running that, in one direction, thinking that he can, return back. But at the end of the day, he becomes exhausted and he's not able to return back to his starting point, and all his efforts is in futile. And basically, running back, he falls and he dies, and he's just buried in that 6 meter coffin. So the moral of the story is, don't be greedy. Understand what your goals are, what success for you looks like, and then try to be content in life with the success that you have, right? Try to also focus on happiness, because that is also very important. So the moral of the story is, happiness is not guaranteed by success, right? Success does bring some happiness, but it's not like if you have success all the time, you're definitely bound to get more and more happiness. It doesn't work like that. So yeah, don't obsess over it too much. Success is like a salt, is like salt. It is an important ingredient in food, but it's not the only thing that makes the food tasty. So it's not like, if you don't have salt to an extent, then your food will taste bland and it would not be that tasty. But it's not like if you put in more and more salt and put an entire jar, your food will become tastier. No, it will become poisonous at some point. Yeah, so we need to regulate, our life, and understand when it is enough. Yeah, how much success is too much success, and consciously have that willpower to then stop and focus, or rather change our, or redirect our attention towards happiness. Okay, now what is your opinion? Yeah, I would like to hear your opinion. Should we be chasing success all the time, or should we be chasing happiness all the time? Or is it more like I mentioned, an issue of time? Earlier in your life you should be chasing success, and then later on happiness. So I would love to hear your opinion and your engagement. Please write down in the comments your opinions. And with that, I'm at the end of this video. Thank you so much again for your time, and I wish you a lot of success and happiness in life, and have a nice day. Bye.